Ahead on our news weekend, a protest turned a shoving match this morning as taxi cab drivers at the Nassau cruise port face off with police. But first, we pause to remember the service and sacrifice of Bahamians that served in the two world wars. And then our Delvardo Emmanuel explores a concern in the Christian community as two religious leaders say they believe church attendance is down. We've got the details for these stories and more as our news weekend starts now. This is our news weekend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. Temperatures boiling over downtown this morning as a tense situation between taxi cab drivers and police turned heated. The Bahamas Taxi Cab Union president is telling us what led to this incident. We'll get to that in just a moment, but for now. Today is Remembrance Sunday, a day to remember the sacrifice and service of the Bahamians that served in the two world wars. The weekend of honoring our fallen war heroes coming to a close this morning with an official church service. Our Danielle Miller was there.
A special service held right here at Christ Church Cathedral, attended by dozens of dignitaries and special guests in a day of remembrance for our fallen Bahamian heroes.
Our remembrance today is infused with hope because death does not have the last word and war will not have the final say.
A sobering message delivered by Rector of Christ Church Cathedral, the Very Reverend Harry Bain, during the Remembrance Sunday service. The sanctuary filled with members of the country's armed forces, clergymen, countrymen, various youth organizations, and congregants, all wearing the poppy pin, a statement of solidarity. Governor General Dame Cynthia Pratt delivering a message of gratitude and paying tribute to the final war veteran who passed away earlier this year.
As we remember acting female Corporal Doreen Jones Richards, the last surviving Bahamian veteran of World War II, who passed in 2025. Her death marked the end of a living bond to the generation of Bahamians who served in the war, bringing to a close a solemn chapter in the nation's military history.
Following the worship service, a procession was held to the Garden of Remembrance for a wreath-laying ceremony. Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Two taxi cab drivers are in police custody tonight after a heated protest this morning staged by taxi cab drivers that work at the Nassau cruise port. President of the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union, Tyrone Butler, says the incident sparked over a number of concerns.
The work environment has become pretty tense for them. They feel like they're being locked out. They're seeing other purveyors or other stakeholders and other companies getting to the front of the line and taking jobs that would otherwise be available for taxis. Because of how strict things has become at the port, some of the drivers have resorted to coming out to work a bit early, in fact, as early as 9 o'clock the night before, just to be able to get to the front of the line or to get a good job.
And despite the extended hours, he says they're still not making enough money. Another concern, he adds, the public restroom available to drivers is kept locked before 4 a.m.
Taxi stands all over the island are open 24 hours, so the Nassau Cruise Port is the only one that kind of locks taxi out until 4 a.m. in the morning, and that is something that, the union has asked for some consideration on, because the Nassau Cruise Port is a unique environment for taxis to wait from.
Now, Butler says they've had numerous discussions on these matters on various occasions, but to no avail. However, he admits that their fight is not with the cruise port, but rather with the government, who he believes is failing them.
If you look at it, it's really two governments, the previous government and this current government, that has been involved in this venture with the Nassau or global ports. And I can't fathom how governments would allow an investor to put $350 million in a state-of-the-art cruise port and make no provisions for proper taxis.
He also takes issue with the treatment of the drivers by officers, calling them a bit aggressive. However, he says they plan to continue their fight, and the union will stand with its members.
We're going to continue to press on and defend our right to be able to get reasonable work from the port, but it's going to be a battle. I don't see it ending anytime soon.
As for the two cab drivers that were arrested, Butler says he cannot confirm if charges were pressed against them. Since that protest this morning, he says he has not heard back from officials from the cruise port or the government. While the Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard blasting the Davis administration over its handling of the National Food Distribution Task Force, calling the Prime Minister's recent comments nasty and politically motivated. This after the long-awaited Auditor General's report found that the task force fulfilled its mandate to ensure that no one went hungry during the COVID-19 pandemic and accounted for all the government funds it received. The findings contradicting the Davis administration's claims that the program suffered from poor record-keeping and lacked oversight. On Wednesday, while attending the book signing for the late Archbishop Drexel Gomez, Pintard said Prime Minister Philip Davis owes task force chair Susan Holoesco Larson and the NGO community an apology.
The Prime Minister ought to immediately apologize, and no doubt I'd be surprised if persons do not take legal action against the government. So over and over in the House of Assembly, outside the House of Assembly, I chided and chastised this government, and they went on and on, savaging the reputations of people who are working on behalf of struggling Bahamians.
Initially intended to be a 12-week initiative, the food program was in operation for 70 weeks, with $52.99 million allocated in funding and assisting the most vulnerable households during the COVID-19 pandemic when thousands of Bahamians were out of work. The audit is dated September 25, 2025, and covers the period April 2020 to September 2021. Pintard says instead of recognizing the task force's success during a national crisis, the government has sought to undermine those who stepped up to serve.
What he was doing was wrong. It was unethical. It was playing politics, and it was deflecting from their bad governance. Every time there was a serious issue the government was facing, they found something to throw in the mix to distract the public. And attacking the NGO community, the head of the food program, was nasty, and it was personal.
The Parliamentary Registration Department wrapping up 3 days of scouting communities and hearing the concerns of residents on Grants, Bahamas. Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson says they were well received from east to west, adding that the team was able to alleviate the fears of those who were concerned about using the new biometric voting cards in the general election, assuring voters their information will be secure. But Thompson adds that if for some reason you're still uneasy, the cards are not mandatory.
That will not eliminate you from voting. You'll still be able to vote in the next election. You can vote with your purple card. Once you're on the continuous register, you are eligible to vote. So no matter what they say or what they might do, you are eligible to vote in the next election, whether you have a biometric card or not. So don't stay away from the polls because you don't have a biometric card. You want every eligible to aim, and it's your voice. Your voice is your vote. So let's go and vote.
Harrison says this year there are over 196,000 voters already on the register, the highest it has ever been. And for students studying abroad, there are still options for you to get on the registry.
We're working through the embassies and the consul generals abroad. We have sent some information to them, and that they can vote in advance poll, we would educate them through the consuls and the embassies abroad.
So how will they be able to register the new biometric system?
They could register at the embassies and the Consul General's office. We have made provisions, and we ask all those who have inquiries, if they have some challenges, just let us know. We'll have a team go up there quickly to deal with them.
Well, as North Abaco pastors decry poor roads and other issues in North Abaco, Area Member of Parliament Kirk Cornish is applauding them for their efforts to get the issues resolved. Cornish attended a recent meeting by the association and residents where they sought to get an audience with the Prime Minister to resolve those matters. Cornish telling us he lives in the area and experiences the same issues like the bad state of the roads.
The only way babies are fed if they cry. So closed mouth don't get fed. We have to air our needs and our concerns. And I appreciate the fact that we're doing it in a respectful, non-political, calm, collective environment.
And Free National Movement candidate for North Abaco, Therese Poodle, and Coalition of Independence candidate Kai Mills were also at the meeting sharing their views on the matter.
My advocacy is North Abaconians want what they deserve. That is more progress. You heard one of the speakers said it was better decades ago. We shouldn't be moving backwards. We want to see North Abaco move forward.
You need somebody that when you go to speak for North Abaco, they may not like you, but they respect you because you have integrity and you're speaking for people. You see that group up there? I would be happy to speak in the Honorable House for such a people. And when I speak for such a people, the Bahamas will listen.
Well, are fewer Bahamians going to church? That's the growing concern among religious leaders as both the Baptist and Anglican communities report in noticeable drops in attendance, especially since the pandemic. As our News' Delvado Emmanuel tells us, the country's top church leaders say the decline is forcing the church to rethink how it reaches the faithful.
The head of the Bahamas Christian Council says the Baptist community, like many other denominations worldwide, continues to see a decline in church attendance following the COVID-19 pandemic. Bishop Delton Fernandez says the drop has been most noticeable among older members who have not returned to in-person worship.
The Gen Z and the others were not at worship. They were not involved in the worship, but the seniors were there. And post-COVID, some have developed Alzheimer's, some have gone on to be with the Lord, and some are not safe. They just don't feel comfortable leaving their homes.
Meantime, in the Anglican community, Bishop Leish Boyd agrees, noting that the challenge goes beyond any single denomination. He says modern distractions, competing values, and changing family structures have made it harder for churches to engage the next generation.
Every church is experiencing a decline, particularly a decline in younger people, as parents no longer bring their children to church the way they used to. Families no longer go to church together the way they used to. So these are some of the issues we are going to be looking at, strengthening youth, strengthening family.
Fernanda adds that the church must evolve to stay relevant, using modern tools like social media to connect with the younger generation, while reigniting engagement among the elderly.
Each one must reach one. No matter where you're at in society, your generation must reach your generation. I'll give you a nugget. A church ages with the pastor. So when I first became pastor, I had no gray hair, and I was able to reach a generation through sermons that were relevant to their time. We need more of you to step forward.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
Thanks so much, Delvado. When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, a legacy of love. How one family is continuing to honor the memory of a former veteran educator on Grand Bahama. Plus, trainees are now fully certified lifeguards. We'll tell you all about the first cohort of graduates and their journey. The details coming up when Our News Weekend returns.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Setamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try set them all cold and flu and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
A Grand Bahama legacy living on as the Cheryl Marshall Campbell Foundation continues to help others. What started as a family's tribute has now grown into a meaningful annual tradition. Named after veteran educator Cheryl Marshall Campbell, the foundation honors a woman who spent decades shaping the lives of Grand Bahama students pursuing higher education abroad. Campbell fell ill and passed away in October 2019, and ever since, her family has been giving back to the Grand Bahama Kidney Center, the very place where she once received care. Her husband, Clement Campbell, says the donation is all about bringing comfort to patients during the cooler months.
This is important because the process, what you go through and what we see and the need, right? They have a large crew, and there are a lot of workers, and they have about 100 patients. So this is just good to make a contribution towards that center. So this is my daughter's idea. Chivita, she wanted us to do this, and we've been doing it since my wife passed away.
Keisha Morris, social worker at the Kidney Center, sharing they are grateful for the donation.
We're entering the winter months now, and persons receiving treatment in the unit is very cold. So it's always nice to be able to have blankets on hand, blankets and socks for our patients who don't have them when they're receiving treatment. So we could provide it for them to make them a lot more comfortable while they're in the unit.
Awesome initiative. Well, a new wave of water safety is hitting Grand Bahama with the first cohort of the YMCA's 2024-2025 Lifeguard certification program now officially graduated. What began as a small effort quickly grew into a community mission as the demand for certified lifeguards increased. Realizing they couldn't do it alone, the YMCA partnered with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to bring the initiative to life. 8 trainees have now emerged as fully certified lifeguards. Executive Director of the YMCA, Karen Pinder-Johnson, says the program was created out of a simple but powerful goal, helping Bahamians gain critical life-saving skills.
At the YMCA, we recognize the need to equip our youth with not only swimming and rescue abilities, but also the confidence, the discipline, and a sense of responsibility that comes with being a certified lifeguard.
Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Mario Bolek says government is committed to investing in programs that build confidence, discipline, and opportunity for Bahamians of all ages.
We believe in the power of sports and education, not only to entertain or to compete, but to build, to empower, and to uplift, and to transform lives. The Lifeguard training program in Freeport is a shining example of what that vision is in motion.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, we hope you've been paying attention to the Auto Mall question of the week. We have another lucky Our News viewer to announce. But first,
coming up in sports, all the stars are closer, or whatever Sister said. We look at the highlights from the National Sports Awards, and the Jazz Chisholm Junior Foundation Little League hits the field.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try set them all cold and flu and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
down. Set them all cold and flu. Could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu. Daytime and nighttime too. Try set them all cold and flu and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Welcome to Our Sports Weekend, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Marknut. Let's do show. It's the most important awards show in the country. Yes, we're biased, but it's also true. Nothing brings Bahamians together like seeing our athletes achieve greatness, and last night was a celebration of those efforts. Bahamas Aquatics and the B3As were two of the biggest winners on the night as the Ministry of Youth Sports and Culture hosted the National Sports Awards. Garifta track stars Egan Neely and Jose Johnson were the top junior high male and female athletes of the year. Anthea Charlton won the Outstanding Collegiate Female Award, Anthony Strawn took home the Courage Award, and Devin Charlton was awarded the Prime Minister's Trophy for National Pride. Bahamas Aquatics won Federation of the Year for the second time, headlined by Lamar Taylor, who won Collegiate Male Athlete of the Year. The Garifta Swim Team won the National Team of the Year, Youth National Team of the Year, and their head coach Giovanni McPhee won National Coach of the Year.
We saw the 30-30 season, the All-Star appearance, the playoff heroics. Now we get to see Jazz Chisholm Jr. in his element, using his resources to give back to the future of Bahamian baseball. Chisholm's Foundation opened play in year 3 of his Little League yesterday, and participants took to both Blue Hill Sports Complex and the Andre Rogers National Stadium for opening day. Launched in September of 2023 with just under 200 players, the league has continued to grow and thrive to over 350 players. Chisholm's Foundation hosts events in New York and Florida, but having a Little League in the Bahamas is a project that remains a top priority.
I think we're going to be thinking about adding teams to the league. It's been, overwhelming at times with new kids trying to get into the league. New kids wanting to play baseball. So, we're thinking about adding on next year. We're going to definitely need some more fields.
That'll do it for Our Sports. Unfortunately, you boys did not win a sports award last night.
No, we didn't win, but we have this amazing trophy from VJ Edgecombe last year, 2024 High School Sports Athlete of the Year.
Thanks, VJ. You got a lot more to win. Don't worry about it. We'll keep this one. Back to the studio.
All right, thanks so much, guys. On the other side of this break, we've had pretty beautiful weather throughout the weekend, but could we see the same throughout the work week? Well, meteorologist Ian McKinsey has the answers. Stick with us.
Family, how you look so down? Set them all cold and flu. Could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu. Daytime and nighttime too. Try set them all cold and flu and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Family, how you look so down? Set them all cold and flu. Could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu. Daytime and nighttime too. Try set them all cold and flu and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Thanks so much for joining us on this Remembrance Sunday. Here's a look now at your Sunday evening forecast. We're currently outside our studios. We're under mostly cloudy skies at temperature 79. Feels like at 85. Winds from the east at 6 miles per hour. Across the country at this time, we have 78s in Freeport as well as Great Harbor Key and in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera, 80 in Allenstown and Marsh Harbor, 81 in Nicholstown, and 79 in the capital. Central Bahamas continue with those 81s in Camps Bay, Georgetown, and in Deadman's Key. A pair of 80s or trios of 80s in Black Point, Arthurstown, and Coburn Town in Salvador. 82 in Port Nelson, Rum Key. Southeast Bahamas continue with those 82s in Colonel Hill and in Abrahams Bay, Mayaguana. 83s elsewhere in Duncantown, Delectable Bay, Matthewtown, and Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. Satellite and radar imagery at this time, we have unsettled weather. This is pre-frontal troughing as well as a front across the Gulf area that should begin to push through into the northwest Bahamas sometime tomorrow, and that should bring much cooler conditions, but ahead of it, warm conditions tomorrow, folks. Some showers and possible isolated thunderstorm activity as well. Tracking the tropics remain quiet just the way we love it. And taking a look at your boating forecast, where there's an advisory that is expected to come into place tomorrow after the frontal passage. But for tonight, we're looking at winds west-southwest to west-northwest, 10 to 15, getting up to 25 knots after that frontal passage tomorrow. Seas 2 to 4, building up to 8 feet after the frontal passage. High tide at 10:55 p.m. tonight, low tide at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Central and southeast Bahamas, there's a risk of rip currents out there for you swimmers. Winds east to southeast 10 to 15, seas 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. In your extended forecast, prefrontal activity will keep showers in the forecast tomorrow. As the front pushes through tomorrow night in the northwest Bahamas, expect those temperatures to crash. So Tuesday, Wednesday, folks, dress accordingly. The little ones put their toms on, their coats, sweaters. Keep warm, everyone. This is going to be a very cool week, and the breezy conditions are not going to help. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
Thanks so much, Ian. Well, the ultimate giveaway continues to heat up, and our weekly trivia challenge is keeping the fun rolling as we count down to that brand new 2025 Hyundai Creta. Last week, we asked you to list the Hyundai Creta's features, and lots of you got it right, but there can only be one. So congratulations to our lucky winner, Shelly Dior. You've just scored a gas voucher from our friends at Alive and Automall. And don't worry if your name wasn't called, we've got a new question dropping this week, and you could be next. Remember to follow Our News on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Tune in weekly and stay in it to win it. That Hyundai Creta may just be your sweet ride come December. To learn more, head on over to ournews.bs/ultimate giveaway. And with that, we thank you so much for joining us for our news weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Hey guys, Megan Shepard here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.